Hello, hello, how are you? What's today, Swiss? So, today we will speak about a very important subject. We'll talk about burnout. And for that, we invite a very, very special guest, Jacques Rocha, who will talk about this subject with us. So, hello, Jacques, how are you?
Hello, how are you? Good afternoon. It's
Good
afternoon in
afternoon.
Swiss, right?
Yes, afternoon in Brazil.
Here I am. I am in a beautiful morning in a mountain. It's a
Good.
sunny, beautiful day. And first of all, I'd like to thank you for this invitation. I'm very glad to talk to you. And I'm also very glad to have the opportunity to talk about burnout. Burnout is a main issue in my life in these last 2 years and a half.
Yeah, so introduce yourself first. I will let you start.
Okay, my name is Jacques Rocha. I have been in a business for 27 years. In the last years, I was a operations director at TV Global in Brazil. After I had found out myself with a burnout, I decided to quit the company, my job, my work, but not my career. And I start to see my life in a different way. Today, I work as a speaker, I do mentoring, I prepare professionals to be a high performance executives, and I dedicate today also a big part of my time trying to help out people with burnout because I think that as we found out ourselves so sick with burnout, we have to help people to avoid and also to grow through this big problem, which is a very serious health question that everybody is discussing today. Doesn't matter what country you live.
Yes, I think it's a very important topic. Many people here don't know exactly what is that. I think exhaustion at work is something we talk about very long. But the things and the disease that can bring for us is a very, very important subject. And I think it's very important when we speak about that, other people can know and also have the right treatment because after I don't know, I'm not the specialist, you need to tell me, but I just read that after you get some many symptoms that get very worst. So tell us, that's the first question. do you
Okay.
ha- do you had
Okay.
burnout? So
First, tell me how long you're gonna be here. So I would like to know how time I have in order to try to
oh,
fix all the informations.
so for us, usually 30 minutes we get live
Okay.
because it's also in LinkedIn and it's important that people stay and can see all the live with us. So yeah,
Okay.
30 minutes.
Perfect. So first, I will begin telling to everyone who found out burnout. Burnout was found by a German psychiatrist in 1974. This doctor is called Freud Frauenberger. I always have a difficult to pronounce his last name, but this was the
It's
guy that
complicated.
were complicated for
Yeah.
Brazilian to say Frauenberger. I even don't know if it's the right pronunciation. I have no idea, but I know that his name is Freud Frauenberger, and he's
Okay.
German, and he found out that in 1974. So um, he found out at that time that burnout was a very serious issue related to our health. Okay, so after that, what happened? The definition today, when you talk about burnout is a state of physical, mental, and emotional exhausted. You are exhausting, okay? That occurs when we are exposed to prolonged period of stress. particularly in work-related settings. And you may ask me, but Jack, uh, so burnout is only related to our professional, to our work life. That's it. I will answer yes. Some doctors, they do not agree with me, but I tell them, guys, you did not have burnout, so don't tell me that's not related with work, because I know what I felt. I know how my life changed, and I know particularly what happened when the diagnosis came to my life. So, what causes burnout? Burnout can be result from a combination of factors, okay, including excessive workload, lack of control of how many hours you work, lack of social support, and imbalance between work and personal life. That's what happened to me, and that's what's happening with most people that talks to me. When you love when you do what you do, when you love your job, you get so involved with that that sometimes you forget what's around you, that you have family, that you have social life, that you have to sleep, that you have to take a time for yourself to rest, to mindfulness, to do a yoga, to swim, to walk, to do anything related with your health, your life, not with your work life. So, especially with me, what happened was I have in the last 27 years working with things that I love. And at TV Global, when I found, I was very involved with my team. We had a connection that made me feel all the time work for them, be involved, be engaged with them. And this, of course, made me like forget that I have a personal life, forget that I could be happy with other things instead my work. So today, when I do some advice, I tell people, please prioritize self-care. Make time for activities that recharge you. Includes what I said, your hobbies, practice mindfulness, yoga, and etc. Set boundaries. When you do not set boundaries, your life stays like all messed. You know, you have to set boundaries all the time for everything in your life. But I did that mistake. Even though I was a very high executive, I failed in a special point that was taking care of myself. I was taking care of everyone. I was taking care of the company. I was taking care of the team. I was taking care of my friends' problems, my family problems, everyone's problem. But I forgot that I had a life. So I always, when I talk about burnout in my when I went traveling around different places, I tell people because of I was so involved with my work, I was married 6 times.
Yes. Yes.
This is an example that how we can fail with our personal stuff when you only work our mind to be involved and engage with our work. So when you do set boundaries, and you have to establish clearly uh, uh, your activities, and especially between work and personal life. Uh, why? Because learn how to say no.
It's
Listen to
coming.
that.
Yeah.
Sometimes we make a big confusion. Okay, my boss is asking me to do this. Okay, if I say no, I might be fired. So, what should I do? Well, I will say yes for everything. But remember, If you say yes for everything, you are forgetting that you have a life. You are forgetting that you have setting boundaries. To maintain a healthy work balance, you have to have your boundaries being very established. Okay. When I do these points, I normally say 7 points to order to prevent burnout. The third point is practice stress management. And you're gonna say, Jacques, you are teaching people how to stress, how to manage stress. And I will tell you, yes. When I do my mentoring, I will tell you how to manage your stress. Because everybody is impacted every day with a lot of stress. If you work by yourself, if you work with somebody else, if you work with a lot of people, because human beings are very difficult to deal with. We are very difficult because everyone wants something. Each of us likes one color. Each of us likes a kind of food, a kind of rhythm, of music, everything. So when you are inside of a company, sitting with a lot of people that are very different from you and have mindsets different from you, of course you're going to have to deal with problems. And this make you very stressed sometimes. It's worst thing that you have in life is to have to work with someone that you don't like. But how you get your by my that city this person. Can you do that at work? You
No,
can't.
it's not possible.
You can't. But most of the time, when you have this kind of problem, you did not establish a good relation with the person that's besides you. Okay. Uh, the fourth point that's also very important when you are talking about preventing burnout is important so you can be more sure that you are not alone. You are not alone. So uh, find a way to talk with your colleagues, a way to talk with your friends, with your family, and ask them to give you support. Because surround yourself with a strong support system can provide encouragement. This is very important. When you have people around you supporting you, you automatically have a better condition to go through this problem. Uh, that is a very important point that I use to also explain and talk to people. When you work for so many hours in a place that you are sitting all the time and your mind is connected only with that issue, with that problem, with your work problem, with your tasks, please stand up, go for a little walk, drink a lot of water, go to the bathroom. Some people say to me, Jacques, do you know something? I work for 8 hours and I do not stand up to go to the bathroom because my boss start looking at me and he thinks that I'm making, you know, myself happy because I'm going to the bathroom, going and back into to the bathroom, and I'm not concentrate myself at work. When they listen to that, I get crazy. I do get crazy because I ask to myself, what kind of leader is that? So I cannot even call this guy a leader. I will call him a boss because a boss, they do not have the sensibility to take care of a human being. A leader does. A leader knows that's very important to have the health condition being treated with the team that's working with him. So stand up, walk a little bit, get some water, stretch yourself. Stand up and stretch yourself. Doing these little things, you are avoiding to have burnout. So someone may think that I'm doing something. Oh, Jackie, you're saying something that's so simple that you are telling me again that if I do stretch myself, if I do drink some water, if I do whatever, I'm going to prevent burnout. I would say yes. Do you know why? Because during the last 7 years, when I was working at TV Global, I used not to have my lunchtime treated as should be. So no lunch, no water, no going to the bathroom because I was going to the bathroom and someone was coming to my room. Oh, Jacques, I want to talk to you. I said, okay, okay, come here, come here. So I used to speak with someone. Okay, stand up again. I'm going to the bathroom. Another person's coming to my room. So your busy day makes you sick. So please do not permit that your life goes through this road, this breaking down process. Uh, the sixth point is your goals, reflect your goals, and your values. Normally, to prevent burnout, we have to reassess our values and goals to ensure they are aligning with our current situation. So how we do that? Uh, we have to consider if our work is still fulfilling us. Understand? Our work is fulfilling me. My work is making me happy. So if we found out that the work is not fulfilling us, we should explore ways to begin uh, a new work. We have to begin a we have to regain a sense of fulfillment to consider making change in our career. Sometimes, see what burnout did with my mind. I used to think in English all the time, okay, and then I used to think in Portuguese. Now, when I talk like this, it's because my brain is doing a mess and doing no, Portuguese and English. So my third language that used to be French went away. It's living, I don't know where, in the moon. Because when I try to think in French, so it's a mess, worse than this mess right now. So seek professional need. That's the eighth point. Because when you try to change the way you live, the way you deal with for work, the day you treat yourself, you start doing exercise, you start taking care of yourself, and you still feeling bad, you still feeling that you do have the symptoms of burnout, please seek for a doctor, seek for a psychiatrist. In Brazil, we normally seek for a psychiatrist and a psychologist. For example, I do a social mental work, also mental health work, because I'm psychanalyst, psychanalista. How do I say psychanalista in English? Manu, how? Psych, I don't know.
I think it's the
Psychanalista,
psychologist. I think
excuse
it's
me?
psychoanalyst.
Okay, that's my second professional.
Psychoanalyst. Yeah.
I do this, I work with that. And now, of course, because I had burnout, when someone comes to me and asks for help, by the first 5 minutes, I found out what this person has. Because we feel identify with the symptoms. And so it's very easy to me to say, okay, it's time for you to slow down, to stop. Change your life and change the way you are dealing with your life. So find and seek for a doctor, because the doctor is also a very powerful way to prevent. You know why? Because if you do not sleep well, I forgot to say this point because it's very important. Drinking water, sleeping well, having a good, uh, eating a good food, eating at least 4 times a day, doing mindfulness, all that points that I spoke in the beginning, besides sleeping well, is very important. If you do not sleeping well, the doctor is crucial because you do gonna have to take medicines for that. And you are very concerned and probably asking yourself, oh Jesus, am I crazy now because I'm taking psychiatrist medication? I can tell you, I answer to you, I'm taking for 3 years psychiatrist medication and I'm not crazy. I didn't stop working. I didn't stop making money. I didn't stop having success in my professional life because I had burnout. What changed is the way that I look and prioritize my life. That's the point.
Yeah,
Would you
and I
like
think
to?
when we just don't sleep well, everything can start to do. And when we are nervous, we have many things to deal with and many things to do with at work, and we need to figure it out what will be in the next day and our agenda and how we will deal with our agenda and our schedule and the different ways we
It's
start to
hard.
don't sleep well. That's normal because we are getting anxiety and anxiety and anxiety, and at some point we need something to help that because it's too
Yeah,
hard to sleep. It's not just naturally this come back for normal sleep. this
yeah.
this again needs time.
And and when you talk about burnout, prevent is a key point when it comes to burnout. You can prevent, yes. That's why I think that's our responsibility to share all the information we have about burnout. Because if I can help you feeling that's feeling like you do have burnout, I'm here to help you out because I know how to teach you how to change the ways you are dealing with your life, the way you are working, so to avoid you to be sick. I would like to ask if someone has any question before I start to talk about sorry, what happens when people have to back to work uh, when they have the diagnosis with burnout, how the company deals with that. That's the other point that I will talk about. So someone has any question?
I think not. I'm just going around the social media, and I think nobody has
Okay.
asked nothing.
So what happens when you do have to go back to work when you had the burnout found out by your doctor? I don't know how it works in Swiss. And about Swiss, I know that in 2017, 21% of employees were stressed at work. And I have read a lot about countries in Europe because in France, for example, people are getting very sick with burnout. So I'd like also to have the number. I will look for that also to find the number in Swiss. So what happens when you go back to work? In Brazil, only for you to understand what is happening, the companies unfortunately are being very mean with the employees. I don't say everyone. I say some companies. And what they do, they look at you like you do have a disease that will contaminate other company. You become a monster. You become something that they don't want anymore. Doesn't matter how you were engaged during all the time you work for them. But they look at you like, oh my God, this person, No, no, I don't want this person anymore. She's sick. He is sick. And this is so bad, is so mean, because people need to work, and we cannot be blamed because we got sick. We can't. I cannot blame you that if you work with me, oh, Jacques, I found out that I have burnout. I will take you and put in my arms and say, I'm here with you. I'm going to be here to work with you. That's what a leader that works with high performance does. That's my job. That's why I look at people and I see them so important to my life. And most of people in Brazil, unfortunately, they look burnout as a disease that will contaminate all the people that works in that company. And by the time you come back to work, do you know what they do? They fire you. But according to the Brazilian's law, the the health organization, the OMS, they they assumed burnout as a professional disease. So now in Brazil, according to the employees' law in the government, the company cannot fire you by the time you come back just because we had burnout. Because who had burnout has the rights guaranteed during 1 year after the doctor had said that they have burnout. So they can go back to the company, and even though the company wants to fire you, they can't. But by the time this 1 year passed by, you are going to be out of the company. I don't see, except the Heineken beer, the Heineken company in Brazil, they did 2 months ago something that I just, oh my God, I felt so happy. I was so proud of them. They opened up, they created a new director in the company to take care of the happiness of the employees.
Just
The
necessary.
company opening a area called happiness director. Happiness. Can you imagine it? We have a company that's worrying about if you are happy or if you are sad. I thought, real, that I was one of the few people in the world that had this uh, preoccupation, because you know that I am all the time worried about people that work with me. So how can you prevent? I already told you. You are going back to your company. What should you do? First of all, acknowledgement. Acknowledge your burnout. Don't go away from that. Acknowledge your burnout.
And
You
what is the
cannot.
first symptoms you get? I think for people who don't never had, maybe have some symptoms they need to figure it out to take care, and then of course if they notice some symptoms, it's good to start to prevent or start to therapy and things like that.
Yeah.
What should be?
Okay. Uh, when the burnout starting coming close to you, first point, you start to feel very tired, very, very tired. You have no concentration anymore. Uh, Things that you used to do in an hour, you start to do in 3 hours, in 4 hours. And all the results are not as good as should be. That's the first point. Second point, and you took your shower in the morning and you dress yourself to go out to work, do you know what happens? You put the key in your door to go out, and your mind tells you, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to see those people. I don't feel like staying there today. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to go out. Okay. But you have to go. That's a feeling that you have, but you have to go. because we are committed with that company and we work for them. So with burnout or without burnout, we have to be there. But you start to feeling that. Third, you start sleeping bad. Bad. You have to take medication almost every day, but you do not know what you have. So you go to work and you do not want to go. You get there, you sit there, you get to have the relation with people that you wanna, fight with them all the time, and you start to have a cynicism. You look to everyone and you want to provoke them. That's what I did. And now, related to your physical things, first, your heart start beeping a lot, a lot. And you have, uh, you, you have 100% feeling that you are having a heart attack. Second, your stomach start to work so bad. Everything you eat makes you sick. Everything you drink makes you sick. Third point, you get so, oh my God, another word that I do not say in English. I get so suado, so suado,
Sweating. You're sweating.
sweating. You get so sweating that, guys, if you like, you just took a shower, you are all sweating. Okay. Uh, this fifth point, it's very important. Uh, if someone tells you, okay, Jacques, I'm inviting you to be part of my team because we're going to be working together in this project. The first thing you do, what project? Why? Who is the head of this project? And you start to make them fight between them. And why we do that? Now I know because we do that. Because by the time we force ourselves to be working, we unconsciously we say, okay, I'm here working, but I'm not let you work well. I'm sick, you're gonna be sick too. We do not do that because we're mean, we are bad persons, because we do not realize that into 1,000 employees, 100 employees, we were the person that were chosen to be sick. So the burnout is something that makes you really sometimes very you wanna go to fight. You wanna go to fight. You wanna
Upset.
go to fight. You wanna fight with everyone. But of course, during this moment that you are dealing with the burnout, you probably go to the hospital a lot of times. Myself, for example, the worst moment in the burnout time I had right in the beginning. I was in New York in a meeting, and I was doing a presentation, and in the middle of the presentation, can you imagine that? I had a blackout and was so bad. I felt so sick, and I just felt, I slept, and I woke up in the hospital. And the doctor looking at me and say, hi, Brazilian. I was in the hospital in Manhattan, in New York. And the doctor said, are you okay, Brazilian? I said, oh my God, where am I? He said, you are in the hospital. I said, in the hospital? I was in a company doing a presentation. What am I doing here? And he told me, you felt very bad, and they brought you to the hospital. And did you ever heard about burnout? I said, yes. And he did. We do a MR exam, and from 1 to 10, in this scale, okay, you are 15. Makes sense to you? I said, no, 15? 1 to 10, I have 15? I have no idea. No, doesn't make sense to you? I said, no. And he told me, okay, I will be more straight with you. Stop working because you're gonna die. I said, I am gonna die? I have a, what kind of disease do I have? Do I have a tumor in my brain? Oh my God, that's it? He said, no, you do not. But if you do, keep working like you are doing, you're gonna die. You are going to have a heart attack. You almost did now, today. So my advice, please stop working. Find a, find another way to be happy. Find another way to make money. And I asked him, you are talking about B plan? He said, yes. Because what you're doing at this moment in your professional life is making you sick. So I went back to Brazil the next day. Do you know what happened? I called my secretary and I told her, keep the agenda. Don't move anything. I'm feeling okay. She said, please, Jack, no. You were in the hospital in New York last night, yesterday. I said, doesn't matter. I'm okay. That doctor is crazy. He said that I can die because I have burnout. And I had read something about burnout. And as I didn't see anything that was there saying, you are going to die,
Okay.
I was not worried about.
That's
I
perfect.
was not worried about at all. So I told her and I said, I'm back. I was in the airport. I called her. I said, I'm going back to home from the airport to my house. I'll take a shower, change my clothes, and I will be at work in 1 hour. Okay, I took my car and I went from my house to TV Global, and I stopped in the gas station. And when I stopped in the gas station, I had another blackout.
Okay.
And the guy that worked in a gas station, I opened up the window. He knows me. He knew me. We used to talk every day. He looked at me and he said, hi, Jack, how are you? And I look at him and I asked, who are you? And he told me, are you kidding? I said, no, I'm not. And I asked again, who are you? He said, oh my God, are you feeling well? I said, no, my heart, my heart is burning a lot. And I don't know where I am. I don't know where I work. I don't know even who am I. And I think I'm gonna die. He
Right.
said, you're going to die? Are you having a heart attack? I said, I think so. So he stopped my car in a gas station. He put me in a car. He went with me to the hospital, 25 minutes from Barra da Tijuca. He went with me to the hospital. I got to the hospital. They called my cardiologist. And when my doctor got there, he said, what are you doing to your life, crazy woman? I said, nothing. I was just working, going to work. He said, you should not be concerned about your work because you have burnout. Uh, you have to be away from your work. I said, away? No way, Jose. I'm not going to be out from my work. So what he did, he granted me, he locked me in the hospital, and I was in the hospital crazy. You know how crazy I get when someone tells me that I cannot do something. I hate to be controlled. So I said, I'm going to be in the hospital. He said, yes, because otherwise you're going to die. So I
I
stay in the hospital 2 days. The second day, I changed my clothes. The doctor that was there in that time, he said, "Where are you going? Your doctor told you to go out, to go home?" I said, "No, no, I'm saying that I can go." He said, "No, you can't. You had a heart attack. You cannot go." I said, "But I'm going. I have to work. I have a meeting to talk about World Cup. I think that we were close to World Cup." And he said, "What? You were worried about the World Cup?" I said, "Yes, because my area is responsible for all the commercial deliveries. We have a lot of money involved." "No, you're crazy. I'm going to back to work." So I went back to work. I had a fight with the doctor. I went back to work. And guess what happened?
What? What happened?
Guess what happened? I left the hospital. I went back to work. And guess what happened? I got there and I in my desk. Blackout again. Blackout again. So I
Almost
went
up.
home. I went home. I went home. And I decided to call one psychiatrist. And he explained me everything about burnout. And by the time he convinced me that was a very serious issue, I started to get worried about. So he told me there is a hospital in Miami, clinic, that you should go there. Stay there for 15 days. Stay away from this, because if you do not
Disconnect. No. If don't disconnect, is a very huge problem. Sure. I think we just had some seconds with some problem on the connection. Let's check if Jack will come back. I hope yes. So I will just speak about what we was speaking here. This was one life about this is one life about burnout, how to prevent that, and what to do what when you come back to work. So let's check. Jack come back. Jack come back.
okay. So what you should do when you go back to work? First, you have to acknowledge your burnout. Okay. Second, assess your current workload, what it means. Try to figure out what made you feel burning out. What were the points? That's a very important issue, because by the time you go back to work means that you are going to be in contact, you're going to be involved with the environment that made you sick. So you have to detect what made you sick there, because it's not value if you only change yourself. You have to see and you have to understand that you do not have the control, you do not have the power to change the entire environment, your work environment. So you have to assess your current point there. So recognizing and accepting that you are experiencing burnout, and having the acknowledging that issue can provide, you can have some relief and clarify. The relief is the very important point, that you have to take care of this. You have to make yourself comfortable. You have to make yourself, by the time you go back to work, you have to be happy. Otherwise, you're going to get sick. Still, you are not going to be, you're going to got be healthy. Okay? Burnout is not going to stop. The third point, you have to set your boundaries, of course, establish clear bound between work and your private life, your social life. Uh, Try to avoid to practice extra tasks. Why? Everything that's extra means that's out from those hours that you were supposed to work. Because when you are working, you have your plan. Everyone has to have your daily plan. So everything that's extra is out of your daily plan. So make sure that setting your boundaries is one point that you're gonna be very concerned about. Then take breaks, and it's very important for you to practice self-care all the time. Okay, communicate openly with your partners, with your leader, with everyone that's working with your job environment. And why? You have to be very honest with yourself. Okay? Every time you see that you are going to get in touch with something point that made you sick in the past, please call your leader, call someone from the human resource and tell them, I'm not feeling comfortable working in this task with these people. I would like to have the opportunity to change my environment. Can you help me? Be honest with them. Here we talk about your career. That's important to you. Not because you got burnout, you have to lose and abandon your career. Please don't do that. Be honest with yourself and talk to the person and say, hey, help me. I'm back. I'm here. I need your help. And the guy, if your person, the person you're talking to, is not open, doesn't have an open mind, he's not a person that have the consideration to look in your eyes and say, oh, that's a human being here talking to me and asking for help. Because this person got sick because of this work. This work made this person sick. And the person came back because he needs to have the money to survive, doesn't have another opportunity outside still. So please treat this person as a human being. Treat them with love, with care. Make sure to them you are concerned about that, that pain, because burnout is a pain. Uh, another thing that helped me a lot, seek support. When I say seek support, ask your family, ask your friends. As I said before, ask your leader, uh, because they can provide you emotional support. Because we get very weak, we get very emotionally weak. We have the desire to cry all the time because we feel a shit. We feel like a shit. And we look around us and we found out, you know what? People, and they, when they are not real friends, they're not gonna handle your hand and be by your side. I can tell you that.
I think it's most like the same feeling you have on your bosses or things like that. You feel like you have a very big sick, and everybody is a contagious sickness, and
Yeah.
everybody will get that, so that everybody's going behind, and they are afraid if you get in your side and you get maybe fired at some point, they going to go. too. So I think at these moments you see well who really wants to stay by your side and is really
Yes.
friend.
And when happened to me, found out that I was with burnout and I decided to leave TV Global, I stayed 7 months without working. And I heard a lot of people looking at me and say, "Oh my God, oh your career, oh my God, you were so prepared, you worked so hard to become a director. Oh Jesus, how about now?" And I used to look at them and had, and when you want to say, "Go to hell, go to
I saw
hell."
one movie about that. I think the cause
Yeah,
is a French movie, and they talk about burnout. And the woman, when she just knew she had burnout because she get one cell phone and one other guy, and during one meeting she picked her cell phone and she started to hit him with the cell phone. And then she understood she was exhausted and she had burnout. And
yeah, because people look at me and they was concerned about how I was going to live in a high way of living because I was not director. I was not TV Global's director anymore. And I always uh, had a way of thinking. Doesn't matter where I am, in what company I'm working. What matters is that my essential and priority uh, thinking was always, I don't want to become a person that is only concerned about money. I don't want to become a person that became rich. I don't want to become a person that because I work at TV Global, I will be someone that no one can be close to. I'm much better than you, so I'm almost God. God is here and I live beside him. God's a guy that shares an apartment with me. I'm so important that I share an apartment with God.
maybe, but we also had the same apartment. We was also there with you, so you you did
Yeah,
that.
so I was looking at them, and one day I was very pissed. I said, "Hey, listen to me. You are concerned about my health, or you are concerned about my banking account?
Well,
Because my banking account, don't worry, I have money enough to stay some years without working because I always saved money because I always worked in different projects. I always made a lot of money. So being out of TV was not making me poor person. Okay, so I stayed 7 months out, and after 7 months, I was invited to be a CEO in another TV in the Middle East of Brazil. And I stayed there for 3 years and a half. And was a very hard experience, of course, because they were changing a lot of things there and they needed a executive with a lot of experience to manage and make people address the, 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 the responsibilities so they could run. So I stayed there for 3 years and a half. And besides that, I was working with my mentoring. So people look at me today and say, "Oh my God, Jacques, you look so well." I said, "Yeah. Do I look healthy?" "Oh, yes, you look healthy." Do I look rich? Rich? Why are you asking me that? I said, "Because in the past, you were worried about my money. You were worried about my money. And now I'm here to tell you my life didn't change anything at all because I still have my intellectual property that belongs to me only, No one can buy this. No one can take this away from me. So I have hands, I have legs, I can hear, I can see, so I can work. And I tell you, Manu, if things had changed and I did not have the opportunity to be working like a mentor, doing my speaks, doing my psychoanalyst
It's
work.
gonna happen.
Oh shit! But I do not gonna
Your
remind
therapy.
this day.
Just say therapy, and that's amazing.
My
Therapy.
therapy work, that's it. My therapy work. So I would be working in any other thing. I'm not ashamed of work because people love to have status. I never want to be status. I always want to help people to grow. That's the difference between myself and the other people that see around. I was talking a lot, my God. 47 minutes, I'm talking straight.
Yeah.
That's it. So, did I answer all your doubts about burnout?
Yes, I think here in Switzerland we had a lot. I was reading, and I think it's very truth about here people wants to do things perfectly, and I think, and we have many hours of work. So uh, during the summer, right now is 7. We have a sun, so till 22 we have sun, so that's amazing. But then come autumn, and then winter, and this time gets very small. So during the day we just have from 9 till 4 sun, and it's not sun, it's like yeah, cloud
Yeah.
days, or raining, or just snowing. So I think for people here during this time it's much more complicated. So we have a very big index of suicide and things like that. So I think uh, we don't speak too much about that. Who how could be we could really speak more, because I don't know if you mentioned that, but I just read that they come with burnout, come with depression and another symptoms too. The you say panic and things like that. So
Yes.
if the person is alone, just work all the time and get depressive, have this exhaustion at work, come home, don't have nobody to, don't have one life really, or have other issues to deal with. I have people here. I'm here now in Zurich, near one part of the train, the line of the train. They usually people go to suicide, and when I arrived here, I start to work, and I heard that. I said, "What? I need to go home," and I started to have many delays on the train, and I said, "What's going on?" And then I understood what's going on. So exhaustion here in Switzerland is something that is very, very, very old. It's a very old subject, because people want to be like Swiss. So this is have a precision, have a right time, perfectly, everything good. Sorry, everything good. So that's very complicated. You keep this and many hours of work without sun. So people very close with themselves. They are not very openly or friendly, or have many friends to go out or to speak with. So they may be not just go for one therapist or something like that. Maybe they just go here near my house to
Yeah.
jump in front of one train. So it's very, very important subject, and I think people understand when they got with some symptom, they go and looking for help and therapists. I have some groups too that I was reading about. They are just friend groups, like people already had burnout, and they need friends, and they need to speak about their experience and things like that. So maybe it's also thing uh,
Yeah.
one good thing to do.
You said something that's very serious, because people also in Brazil, they try to kill themselves. The suicide is a very crucial point that you should be very concerned about. And I will tell you why people sometimes thinking about taking their lives away. No, when do we have burnout? One point right in the beginning, because we have all those mental symptoms, depression, uh, you want to feel alone all the time, uh, you feel like you are not worth anymore, you feel like a garbage. That's the point. You feel like a garbage. And until you realize that this gonna pass away, you're gonna be fine, you have to go through the treatment, you're gonna have to go to psychiatrist, you feel like you are alone, and you don't imagine that your life can be again a life that will make you happy. So sometimes you prefer to think like, I'm gonna kill myself. If you ask me, Jacques, did you feel like killing yourself? I'm gonna answer to you, yes. And do you know why? Because right in the beginning, I was very embarrassed because of the fact that I always sweating a lot. Um, I could have a blackout anytime, doesn't matter with whom I was. And people used to look at me like a poor thing. Oh my God. Oh my God. She's so sick. Oh my God. She's going to die. And when I assumed that, yes, I really wanted to kill myself, was because I was sure that life could not continue by that point on. So, guys, this time when you have this thinking is when you have to be stronger. You have to make yourself believe that you are stronger than your thoughts, much more, because you cannot give up. Don't give up. Try to get help. Ask for help. Seek for help. Seek for help. That's a very important point. Okay? And when you went back to your work and you spoke to your leader, you spoke to human resource, and nothing changed, that environment is making you sick. Okay, consider seeking for another job. Because if burnout persists, despite your efforts to address, what's going to happen to you? So consider change. Consider think for another job. Yes, consider think you being in another place. That's it, Manu.
That's it. Yeah, be aware about how you feeling, your symptoms, if you get sick all the time, if you're sad all the time, if you have panic, if you don't want to see those people at work. I think you said that during the live. And of course, it's a very serious problem. And here I just say that maybe people don't go directly to treatment. They try just the first thing that come in their minds, that are suicidal, things like that. So it's very important they get aware about the problem, and they have another way out. Because I think sometimes I was with you when this happened. So I think sometimes maybe we just get so lost that we don't see one way out. We don't have this possibility on our minds, and just go and do what comes first and what we think will help. Because the pain, I never leave it that, but I saw what you leave it, so I think
Yeah,
it's painful. And
yeah,
so I hope everybody that heard that can look for one way out. And Jackie do so coaching, so that no mentoring about how to do what you can do to get away from that. I think get help is the first and most important way to get out from
Yeah,
the.
and I would like to take the opportunity, Manu, to tell people in Swiss that I do have a mentoring uh, project in other countries, in Europe, in
Yes.
USA. I have clients from those countries, and if someone wants to do a therapy session with me, just send me a DM, direct message, so I can get in touch with you. So I really can help you. I'm sure I can help you. I have been helping a lot of people, and people are going back to work stronger. People understood that doesn't have to feel alone. People understood that the way is to live, not to die. Okay, so leaving my Instagram there, you can get in touch with me, and we can rearrange your life, and they can make sure you're gonna feel much better. Okay?
Yes, in the Brazilian way, very friendly and happy. There's this is important, and this is
That's
totally
it.
different from what we live here. So just get in touch. Thank you, Jackie, for your participation. That will be like recording so people can see another time. And is that till next time?
Thank
Bye.
you so much. I love you.
I
It
love
was
you
a
too.
pleasure. It was a pleasure talking to you. And I'm
Hi.
here. Anything you need, always, my heart is open to you. Okay?
Okay, mine too. So take care.
Bye
Bye.
bye.